Scott 24, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm back by myself today. My dad's at work. It's time to do my week 0 college football predictions and my Baltimore Ravens predictions from my buddy Joey Bergen. Let's get into those right now. First up, Kansas State and Iowa State tomorrow at noon to kick off the college football season, the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. I'm going to go with Kansas State here. Kansas State's my pick to win the Big 12, so I got to stick with it. I'm going to go with Kansas State to get the win over in Dublin tomorrow at noon. Next up, UNLV and Idaho State from the Legion Stadium. I'm going to go with UNLV, probably one of the best teams in the Mountain West coming into the season. So I'm going to go with UNLV to get the win here over Idaho State. Next up, Fresno State and Kansas on at 6:30 tomorrow night on Fox. I'm going to go with Jalen Daniels in Kansas. I think if he can stay healthy this year, I think he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. So I'm going to go with Kansas to get the win over Fresno State. Next up, Sam Houston and Western Kentucky. I'm going to go with Western Kentucky to get the win here. I think they're at home, so I'm going to go with Western Kentucky to get the win over a pretty good Sam Houston team who lost to UCF last year but did very well after that. Next up, Stanford and Hawaii. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Stanford. I think Stanford's the underdog in this game. Stanford's going to get the win here on the road over Hawaii. And now into my Baltimore Ravens predictions from my buddy Joey Bergen. First off, they go on the road to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Sunday Night Football. Good way to start off Sunday Night Football this season. I'm going to go with. I am fortunate. I'm going to go with the Bills here. I think the Bills are a better team right now than the Ravens. Sadly, so I'm going to go with the Bills to get the win over the Ravens. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens heading to back home, first home game of the season to take on the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with the Ravens. The Browns are a dumpster fire right now, so I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win here over the Browns. Next up, they host the Detroit Lions. Because this game is at home, I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win here over the Lions. The Ravens are, I think, are a better team right now than the Lions. I think the Lions are probably going to take a little bit of a step back this year without their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, and their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, who took head coaching jobs in the NFL last season. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win over the Lions. Next up, they head into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. I think this game's a loss. I think the refs will find a way to give the Chiefs the win here. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to lose this game and go to 2-2 on the season. Next up, they host the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a better team right now than the Texans. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win over the Texans. Next up, they host the Los Angeles Rams, a game that I think should be in prime time this week. They have this game scheduled for a 1 o'clock start, but I think this game will probably get flexed in to Sunday Night Football later in the season. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win. I think the Ravens are a better team right now than the Rams. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win and improve to 4-2 on the season. Next up, they host the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go with the Ravens again. I think the Ravens are a very good team coming into the season. Might be my Super Bowl pick this year. I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win over the Bears. Next up, they go into Miami to take on the Dolphins. Thursday Night Football on Halloween night. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think it should be a scary night for the Dolphins in that game. I think the Dolphins are not going to be a great team this year, so I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win over the Dolphins. Next up, they go into Minnesota to take on the Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings to get the win here. I think the Vikings are a better team than the Ravens are right now, so that would put the Ravens in 5-3 after 9 weeks, so that's pretty good. Yep. Next, they go into Cleveland to take on the Browns. I think that's another win. I think the Browns are a very bad team this year. I think they got to decide which quarterback they want to use. Right now, they're going to go with Flacco, but I think by this point in the season, they may go to one of the rookies like Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel. So I think the Ravens can win here over the Browns. and get to 6-3. Next up, they host the New York Jets, again, a team that doesn't have a great offense, has a pretty good defense. I think this game could be a little low scoring, but I think Lamar Jackson will find a way to put up enough points here to get the win over the Jets. Next up, they host the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go with the Ravens. The Bengals defense just is not very good. Joe Burrow is going to be able to do what he does and put up points on this team, on the Ravens defense, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. I think that defense is probably going to be one of the worst defenses in the NFL, especially if they don't re-sign Trey Hendrickson, who wants some more money from the Bengals, but they're not seeming to get it to him. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up, they host the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a win. I think the Ravens are a better team right now than the Steelers. I'm seeing a lot of people believing in Pittsburgh this year with Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see what happens. I think their defense is going to be pretty good. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers can do enough offensively to get the win, especially on the road in Baltimore. Next up, they go on the road to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm actually going to give this game a loss. I think the Bengals will find a way to get at least one win against the Ravens this year. I think the Ravens are a good team. I think the Ravens are a very good team this year, but I think the Bengals will find a way to get a win at home over the Ravens. Next up, they host the New England Patriots. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think the Pats are going to be improved this year, but they're not going to be good enough right now to get the win over the Ravens. Next up, they go on the road to host to Green Bay to face the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win here. I think the Ravens are a better team right now than the Packers. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get the win here over the Packers. Final game of the season, they go into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Steelers to get the win here. I think the Steelers need this win to get into the playoffs. And for my buddy Terry Jewell, I'm not going to let the Steelers miss the playoffs. The Ravens probably have nothing to play for here except for maybe seeding in the playoffs. They may be playing for the 1 seed in the AFC, but I think Pittsburgh is going to have more to play for in this game. So I'm going to go with the Steelers to get the win here over the Ravens. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekend Sports. I don't know. I'll be back here on Thursday next week. New week. It'll be a new schedule for me throughout the rest of the year now. So until February, I will be posting on Thursday instead of Friday, as you guys normally expect. So that is a 12-5 record for the Baltimore Ravens this year. I think that's a good enough record to win the division and probably getting to maybe the 1, 2, or 3 seed in the AFC. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekend Sports. I will see you guys right back here next Thursday on Scott's Weekend Sports. See you later, guys.